All right, welcome back. The back-to-school season is officially here. And for any parent out there, you know this means so much more than just new backpacks and school supplies. It really is the start of that annual battle against every classroom cold and playground germ imaginable. So today, we're building the Empowered Parents Playbook, a guide to navigating a healthier school year.
Here's how we're going to tackle this. First up, we'll break down exactly what the September challenge is and why it's so tough on your kid's immune system. Then we'll dive into the core pillars of immunity, look at lifestyle and stress, unpack the really significant changes in the vaccine landscape, and finally bring it all home with a clear strategy for your family. Let's get into it.
You know that feeling, right? That little bit of anxiety that creeps in as summer ends? Well, you're not imagining things. From a purely biological standpoint, sending your kids back to school is like sending them into a massive annual test for their developing immune system.
In fact, this quote puts it perfectly. It calls the return to school one of the most significant immune challenges a child faces all year. We're not just talking about a few sniffles here and there. We're talking about a fundamental shock to their whole system.
It's truly a perfect storm. Just think about all the factors hitting them at once. There's a huge jump in exposure to germs in crowded classrooms. Add to that the social stress of new teachers and new friends. Their sleep schedules get completely thrown off. Their diet often changes with school lunches. And, of course, there's less time for just running around outside. It's this powerful mix that puts their immune system under some serious strain.
Okay, so we know the challenge. The big question is, what can we actually do about it? Let's get into the solutions, starting with the two absolute cornerstones of a resilient immune system: what our kids are eating and how much they're sleeping.
But first, let's address a huge myth you see everywhere. This idea that you can boost your child's immunity. Is there some kind of magic pill or superfood that's going to turn them into a germ-fighting superhero?
Well, the science says, not really. The goal isn't to supercharge or boost a system that's already working hard. The real word we should be using is support. It's all about providing the right tools and the right environment so that their natural defenses can do their job as well as they possibly can.
And nothing shows the importance of support like sleep. Look at this data. A recent survey found that a staggering 60% of college students aren't getting enough sleep, and that directly compromises their immune health. This problem doesn't start in college, folks. It's a clear sign of just how vital sleep is at every single age. So, what's the magic number? For preschoolers, we're talking a solid 10 to 13 hours a night. For your school-age kids, it's 9 to 12. And for teens who are notoriously sleep-deprived, the target is still a full 8 to 10 hours. This isn't just about them being cranky. It's absolutely non-negotiable for their immune system to function properly.
Now for the other pillar, nutrition. And don't worry, you don't have to be a nutritionist. Just think of it as 5 key building blocks. You've got vitamin D, which helps regulate immune cells. Zinc, which is crucial for their white blood cells. The famous vitamin C, of course. Then protein, which is literally what their immune cells are made of. And finally, healthy fats, like omega-3s, which help keep inflammation in check.
Okay, once you have those core pillars of diet and sleep locked down, it's time to look at the bigger picture. Because lifestyle, and especially how we manage stress, plays a massive role in how well our kids can fight off illness.
Let's get into the science of this for a second. When a kid is dealing with chronic stress, from tests, from social pressures, even just a chaotic schedule, their body pumps out a hormone called cortisol. Now, in short bursts, it's fine, but when those cortisol levels are high all the time, it can actually suppress the immune system, making them more vulnerable to getting sick.
So what's the best way to fight that stress? It's simple, really. Play and movement. Getting them active doesn't just lower cortisol, it directly strengthens their immune system. And getting them outside, well, that's a double whammy. They get vitamin D from the sun, and they get exposed to all kinds of different microbes, which can actually help train their immune system to be stronger and more balanced.
All right, let's pivot now to a topic that has seen some major shifts recently. If you're a parent getting ready for the new school year, you absolutely need to understand the new vaccine landscape. It's like a whole new rule book has just been written. And these changes have happened incredibly fast. It all started back in May 2005, when the COVID-19 vaccine recommendation was changed. Then in December, the hepatitis B guidance for some infants was updated. And by January 2026, a huge revision was announced that actually reduced the number of vaccines that are universally recommended for every single child. So here's a look at the new framework. It's broken into 3 categories:
Category 1 is for things like measles and polio, still recommended for all kids. Category 2 is for children who are in high-risk groups. And then Category 3, this is the big change. It's called shared clinical decision-making. This is where things like the annual flu shot or the COVID-19 vaccine are no longer a blanket recommendation, but a conversation to be had between you and your doctor.
So what's the official reason for this shift? Well, according to HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the new structure is designed to, quote, protect children, respect families, and rebuild trust in public health.
But on the other side of the coin, you have many medical groups voicing some serious concerns. For example, the National Foundation for Infectious Diseases put out a statement saying, quote, "This is not the right time to make changes that are not supported by clear evidence."
And that brings us to what might be the single most important fact for parents to understand right now. These new federal guidelines are just guidelines. As of early 2026, a whopping 28 states, that's more than half the country, have already said they will not be following this new federal schedule. They're making their own rules, which means what's happening at the federal level might be very different from what's required where you live.
So, with all this new information swirling around, from nutrition and sleep to these big shifts in vaccine policy, how do you actually pull it all together into a plan that works? Let's build a simple, actionable strategy for your family.
Here it is, your 4-point playbook. Number 1, and this is huge, know your state's rules. Check what your local school district and your state health department require because there's a good chance it's different from the federal guidance. 2, focus relentlessly on those foundations, sleep and nutrition. 3, double down on the simple stuff that we know works, hand washing, consistent routines, and managing stress. And finally, number 4, partner with your doctor. Use this new era of shared decision-making to build a plan that truly fits your family.
At the end of the day, this new landscape puts a lot more of the decision-making power right back into parents' hands. We're in an era of new rules, and with that comes more choices. So the final question is for you to think about. For the school year ahead, what's the very first step you're going to take in building your family's health playbook?